actually see the other one. So it's a pretty special old loom. And it all started with this jacquard punch card, invented by our friend Silk Weaver. He was tinkering with silk weaving looms, and basically he came up with the very first computer. So how it works, got the card sitting on the card cylinder, the box of spring-loaded needles, all in line with these pegs, vertically. Depending on where the hole is covered up, the vertical row in the card. I'm just going to say the top one. That will compress the spring, push one of these little pegs out. Then there's a straight edge bar up the top that lifts these lifters up and lifts these carriers that hold the yarn. So what's happening up the top is being mirrored and transferred down to the bottom here. So basically, no hole covered up in the card, no peak spring pushed, no peak pushed, straight edge bar goes straight past, no lift, no movement. It'll default and take black the top one. So black, the top one is no lift, the default the off. First hole covered up in a vertical row in the card, that will select grey, lift it to that black point. Grey will be taken instead of black. If the second hole is covered up in a vertical row, that will select red, lift it to that black point. Red will be taken instead of black, and so on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Somewhat? Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
That's as sort of as simple as I can break it down. Have a visual aspect on what I was talking about. Okay, so if you focus here on the yarn carriage, you'll see what I mean, what I was talking about, how those punch cards work. Up the peppers go. See what's happening?
Yeah.
That's those cards have engaged. Push those pegs out, lifting them up. Imagine before jacquard's punch card, how long it would take to make all those selections for one row.
Yeah.
So that card cylinder's just turned, ready for the next row after this one. And there you can see the warp and the weft more clearly. This is the weft, it's called jute, it's a natural fibre going across that way.
Yeah.
And under here, 90 degrees to that weft is the warp, under tension, that's the warp. There's 3 warp beams on this loom, a front, a middle and a back. 3 warp heddles, these are called heddles, that move up and down. There's 3 weft shots and 3 warp changes to one yarn shot. So this is first shot, back heddles up, front, middle are down, weft goes across. These reeds here come in and push and weave that weft in. Then that warp will change from front, middle down to front, middle up and back down, opposite. Weft across, reeds in. Then the yarn shot, middle heddle up, front, back down and the yarn woven in. So there's a lot of mechanical movement. Any one of them are out, it'll smash. So it's a challenge for me to keep them going. So up the grippers go, into the yarn carriage, you'll hear the grippers lock. Those grippers have locked now. Now that yarn carriage will move away from the grippers, and down the bottom, can you see the reeds pushing that weft in? Yeah. So the grippers have gone up, grab the yarn carriage has moved away, blades into position, ready for this knife to come across and cut the yarn now. See, I've put the cut yarn in it now.
Yeah.
Now all those pegs that were selected on these lifters up the top there, there's a back board up the top that's canceled that out. You heard the card cylinder turn ready for the next row. Because that row might have wanted grey, this row might want red, next row might want a different colour. So it's cancelled out up the top each time. Now these grippers come down. In between the reeds, these are the reeds here that come in. So the reeds have come in now, the grippers are coming down. in between the reeds. Then you can see the warp. Now that weft will take that jute across, back out. These reeds will come in, push that weft in over the grippers and over the yarn. The grippers are tied to open up and release the yarn. The yarn is woven into the back like a U shape, this is exactly over length. So that's the top of the carpet. And then the weft, which is this jute, sitting across the top. And then the warp under tension at each side, holding that weft down. So that's how Axminster carpet's made. And then if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to ask any questions you have. Just missed one there. I'll have to hand sew that in later. There was a knot in the yarn. It doesn't take much to miss an egg. So these are machines. That's why I have to stand in front of it. I can't take my eyes off it. If it misses an egg, you will just keep going. And I have to hand sew them in later. I don't want to have to hand sew in too many of them in myself.